Hey, glad you made it back for another takeaway for teen video. This one probably 85% plus less likely to end in Band-Aid requirements for me. I'm Carrie, the teen librarian at Racine Public, and this month we're celebrating National Parks Month. Honestly, I hope that you have to take time away from being outside to come in and watch this. I hope that you're outside all the time. Okay, I have a visitor, a guest. If you want to come up and say hi, say hi. Hi. I said outside, you see. That's how I got a friend. She loves to be outside. I love to be outside. I'd rather be out there right now recording this, except that it's gonna be rainy, and now I have another visitor. Hello, Vivian. Right, okay, Evie. All right. Yeah, okay. So, obviously, I've got two canine friends who love being outside, and we can all learn a lesson from them. It's so good for you to be out there, and you probably know this. And this is one of the perks we have of living in a place like Wisconsin. The summer's just gorgeous. It's not too hot. It's not too wet, like if you lived in the Pacific Northwest. Hello, Gideon. Papa, you want to say hi to the camera too? Gideon, Papa. No. Ah, you can see the tails. And there's so much to do around here. So much to see in Wisconsin. We've got parks all over the place. Did you know we have 66 state parks? I think that if you follow one of the things that I put in the kit, the state park map, it would be an excellent goal to see how many of those parks you could make it to and visit. I am not a native Wisconsin person. I didn't grow up here. I grew up back in Appalachia. We had a whole different set of things to explore back there. If any of you have ever heard of a little thing called the Appalachian Trail, I didn't grow up on it exactly, but I have spent time since running, walking on it, and it's very different. Up here, not so much hills as I was told. They're called moraines, the mountains, but still so much to explore. And I've given you some things in the bag to help you do that in a safer, more comfortable way. Just because it doesn't get too hot, it gets buggy. So we've got the bandana to help keep the bugs away from your eyes. We've got sunscreen, we've got a little thing to carry water with you. It's not probably the most convenient backpack fitting cup, but you know, short trips, or if you've got a big backpack, you can stick it in there. It'll do the trick. Our craft this month, as I say, less likely to damage me, I think. We're gonna paint some rocks. I know you probably are all aware of the whole Kenosha Racine rocks, or Racine Kenosha rocks, whatever it is, where everyone's painting rocks and leaving them in places, hiding them. You can do that if you want. You can just paint some rocks. You can put them around your garden outside. You could put them on your desk, however you want to do them. But it's a nice way to take something from nature and add a little touch of our own creativity. Of course, I gave you the rocks because it's a bad idea to bring things home from nature. Sometimes we've got, especially with plants and things, if you try to transplant them, they bring things with them that maybe weren't meant to be moved from one place to another. Bugs, animals, when they start migrating, all sorts of havoc breaks out. Rock is probably not going to damage anything. But then again, I don't know if you've seen on the news that we got problems, some state parks have problems with people just stacking rocks because it can be damaging to the environment. Maybe they're like removing them from places where they needed to be, and I don't know. So we're just playing it safe, and I've given you rocks, and you can pretend that you took them from nature. They are 100% Wisconsin rocks, I guarantee. So we're gonna paint them, and it shouldn't be that hard. I've been informed that it is very straightforward. Because I'm a sucker for punishment, I let Miss Keiko participate in the craft when she asked me if she could have a few rocks to paint. Why did I do that? Why am I comparing myself to Miss Keiko? She's always going to make everything look easy. And along will come me and my own abilities. But you know what? All right. I'm just going to lay it out. When I was in college and I was studying music, Evie, would you mind not squeaking? When I was in college and studying music, we had long philosophical talks about what made something music. Was car horns honking music? Was banging on doors music? And we decided in the end the main thing was the intent. It was originally intended by the performer or the organizer of sound to be music, and it was music. And I'm going to say the same thing holds true. If I intend for my painted rocks to be art, then gosh darn it, they are art. And so are yours. So here we go, all right?
So in every bag, I put in, besides the paint, a couple of rocks. A big one, like so, and then a smaller one, like so. So you can decide if you want to paint a big rock or a little rock. And I didn't go out and purposely find nice, round, circular rocks that everyone seems to like to paint, because nature isn't like that, you know? And also, some of these rocks that have more textured sides, they kind of lend themselves to painting different ways. You see, this one has like little veins and little lines, and maybe that looks like a mountain range. You could paint a mountain range on it, and the shapes might inspire you to draw different kinds of things. So, the paint little pots that I gave you have a lot of different colors, and then 2 of them are white. And the white is not just paint. The white is something called gesso. It's a primer. It is really good for starting, sort of as a base layer. You can use it just as a white paint. Or you can use it to cover the whole rock up so that when you paint on top of the white, it gives you a nice base so the other colors kind of pop. It won't do much for protecting the paint that paints on top of it, if you were thinking that was what it was going to do, keep it weatherproof. But it's a good base layer, if you so choose. So, for example, just paint the whole rock with this, and it'll do better than if you, say, try to paint the rock with one of the colored paints, because this will cover up all the little porous holes and cracks and things much more effectively. But this is a personal choice. Only you can decide what your rock is going to look like. Only you can decide what rock is right for you. And no one can judge your rock except you. You can decide if you want to paint just the front, or you can paint the whole darn thing. Maybe you want your rock to look good from all sides. Hey, look, the back of it. Just as an aside, people. Oh my gosh, I have gray hair. As an aside, my phone is currently my camera dangling from a Gorilla Pod attached to the light fixture overhead. If you'd like to see your library have better quality videos with a better quality film studio, hey, the library is always taking donations. Maybe even for an extra monitor that will let me know that my head is directly in front of the camera before I'm filming, or during, or at any point before I get to this part of the editing process. Now, I like this rock. I like this rock that I have in my hand right now. It's not round, but it's nice and smooth, and it's sort of, I don't know, gives me ideas. It's almost tooth-shaped. You might take the opportunity to study your rock before you paint it. Does it look like a landscape kind of rock? Does it look like it's kind of the shape of a cartoon or anime character? Hey, maybe it's an abstract rock. Maybe you could paint a picture of a rock on your rock. Whatever you want to do, there's no wrong answers here. Anyway, I'm just going to do the front of that one just with a little bit of the white to help it stand out. Make sure to wash your brush between colors unless you want to blend all your colors. And fair warning, the gesso paint, it's a little harder to get out of the brush than the other paints. Kind of a paint, it's kind of sticky. I didn't have any nice neat trays left for myself, so I just kind of dumped some paint. This one I'm not gonna use the gesso with. I'm just gonna paint directly onto it. And you'll see there's a little bit of a difference. Although your less porous kinds of rocks don't necessarily need as much primer. It's been many years since I've taken a geology class and was able to tell the difference between different kinds of rocks. Sedimentary, something to do with volcanoes. Don't judge. I'm a librarian. I know where the books are. I can find the books that tell me what different rocks are. I don't have to have it all in my memory. I saw this on some website when I was looking for information. These people were painting rocks to look like M&Ms that had a bite taken out of them when they had like a side missing on the rock. I figured I'd give it a try. This rock lends itself well to that. It's difficult to paint all the sides of the rock without getting your hands painty. I suppose if you wanted to be exceptionally neat about this, you could wait till the different layers dried. I could have waited till that layer of white dried before heading in with any other colors of the paint, but, well, it's not like this is going in the Louvre, is it? Not even going into the Racine Art Museum. But anyway, all M&Ms are not perfectly alike. Alright, we'll just let that sit for a minute though, I think. Oops. Put blue on the other rock. You stay. Rinse, 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 rinse. So far so good. I am not injured. I am not burnt. Okay. Cut to mixing paints. You guys took elementary school art class, right? You know basic color theory. Red and blue, that's purple. Red and yellow, that's orange. You're not really going to be able to get a deep brown out of these colors without more art knowledge than I have, at least. But mixing some red and green with a little bit of blue, I was able to get kind of brown. It's not exactly chocolate colored, unless, again, something's wrong with my M&M. I bet you guys are better at this than I am. If you ever come into youth services and you look at that big chalkboard that's up behind our desk, anything that looks particularly artistic, probably Miss Keiko. Anything that looks like it came directly out of a how to draw animals in 6 steps or fewer. Yeah, that's me. First draw 3 circles, connected. Now draw lines between them. You have a puppy. That'd be my ability level. But hey, those books are popular for a reason. Alright, rinse the brush, and again, this is one of those moments where I probably should have let the blue dry for a bit before painting anything on top of it, but let's live dangerously. We've got to put a big little eyeball there, because the M&Ms have to have faces. Oh, well, this kind of looks not like I intended. How hard is it to paint a circle? They'll look more like eyeballs when I add the pupil. I should let it dry. I should let it dry. But, again, impatient. Oh, that doesn't look quite right. Better fix that. How about some more white? We'll go around, out and around, and, well, maybe the eyes are a little bigger than I originally intended, but, well, he's unnerved, because he's had a bite taken out of him. He's allowed to have wide eyes at the moment. Just keep adding, Because of course, the number one rule of painting is keep going, keep going, keep going every time you're not happy with what you've done, because adding more and more and more to try to fix what you messed up before always ends well, right? Right. Okay. Just in case anyone doesn't know, it's an M&M. Let's try to put a little M on the thing. And I think I just remembered something sort of important. The M is supposed to be on the M&M's belly, not chin. Oops. There's no real fixing that now, is there? Maybe it'll look okay. Let's give him a mouth. No. No, now it just looks like he has a really bad mustache. Let's move on. Okay. Let's maybe move on to another rock. Maybe something a little less, directly representative. Abstract works well, because you can always say, it's not a real M&M, it's an interpretation of an M&M, and no one can say you are wrong. In this case, I'm thinking this is going to be my interpretation of a sunset. So, give it some red, and then we mix in some yellow, because that's sunset-y. This rock just kind of looks like it wants to be a broad landscape. That's what I'm talking about. It's kind of all blended together in one giant orange smear, which wasn't what I planned. Maybe it needs more red. No, I think I have a better idea. The red will contrast more if I make it a sunset over water. So, blue. It's the bluest blue that ever blued, because of course that's exactly what lakes always look like, right? I don't know about this. Kind of looking just like a striped rock. Maybe if I add a little more something to the water. Please, please, please don't let me reach the point where I have to draw actual little cartoon fish in order for it to be obvious what I'm doing here. Maybe an island? No. Rule number 2 of art: know your limits. I personally know that my limits do not extend to drawing anything that might actually resemble a tiny little island in the middle of an artificially blue-looking lake underneath a cartoony orange sunset. Let's just perhaps maybe stop when we're ahead. Color up the bottom of it a bit so you can't quite see a green, that's it, a gray bottom underneath. Maybe the sun is reflecting on the water a little bit at the top. At least the water is less unrealistically blue? No? If I add gray to it, it starts to look a little more like real world water. Let's just set that aside, I think. This is harder than you might think. Rinse, 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 rinse. What should I do with this one? I honestly am starting to run out of ideas of things that I might be able to actually do. I don't know. Probably should have thought of this before I started. A tree. I can draw a tree. I can definitely do trees. They're not that hard. Just kind of put branches and things, but first I gotta draw the ground they go in, right? So, dirt. Right? Dirt's not too hard. Put a little bit of grass over the dirt, but not so much that it actually looks like, I don't know, a green on a golf course. I'm showing my vast knowledge of color theory here, aren't I? A little bit more green. There is no such thing as going overboard. Yes, there is. You guys know it much better than I do, I'm sure. Alright. Time for the trees. Time for the trees, because I can do trees. I think. Pretty sure. Trunk. I mean, I've watched a Bob Ross video or two. Happy little branches? That looks more like a telephone pole. It's okay, because we're going to cover it up. Leaves! Dot, 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 dot. One time, I went to one of those painting parties, and they taught us how to make trees. Except they had us do them all in Technicolor leaves. Like neon orange and hot pink. And I'm pretty sure this will at least look more realistic than that. A little tiny bit of yellow dappling the trees. It's not too bad. You can tell it's a tree, anyway. Right? I say.
It's about the intent, right, Edie? Yes, you make me feel better.
Okay, so maybe I ought to try something new. I've got my bad M&M, I've got my fake-looking lake, I've got my trees. Let's do something simple. Okay, yellow. Yellow background. I'm starting with a bright yellow background on which I will paint something that even I cannot mess up. It has to be a perfect yellow background because I can't really deal with having anything else look tragically bad right now. So, how hard can this be? Just to do the background correctly. Yellow. I really probably should have started with a layer of that gesso white underneath this because this rock is kind of thirsty. It keeps sucking the yellow paint inside. I'm gonna keep having to repaint over the dry spots, over the spots where the rock's natural color is poking through. Just keep painting, just keep painting. Art is a process. You have to be patient with your art. Patient with yourself. That's a good rule of thumb. Nature cannot be rushed. It takes a tree as long to grow as it needs to grow. And you can't rush that growth with anything you do, and you can't rush the artistic process. Yellow. More yellow. Rock, stop drinking my paint and just stay solid yellow, please. You are making me very, very frustrated with you. I'm going to start getting angry in a minute, and I don't know if you've ever heard about a sledgehammer before. No. Calm down. Let it dry. We will add another layer when it's dry, if you can stay patient for that long. Can I revisit this guy? Is there anything that I could possibly add at this point that wouldn't make it look worse? I'm not sure. Best to just put it down and walk away for now. Alright, we're back, and we're going to do a simple, basic flower. This is the second announcement that, hey, my camera is doing the best it can dangling from a gorilla pod from the lighting fixture above me. That lighting fixture will swing every now and again, but it makes for a nice distraction from the fact that this flower looks hideous.
I know, I feel much better now. At least I didn't try to paint a dog. I think you'd be upset with me if I did that. Lesson learned. If you're struggling to paint something, have a dog nearby for consolation.
So you can see we've got my rocks, and we've got Miss Keiko's rocks. I think it's pretty clear there is no wrong way to do this, right? All painted rocks are beautiful rocks, and you should feel proud of what you've done.
Anyway, happy National Parks Month. I hope that you enjoyed this month's video. We're going to have one in August. We're going to be back in September for one for back to school. But also in the fall, we're going to be doing more of our regularly scheduled back in person, face-to-face kind of programming. So you can look for that. I hope you do. I cannot wait personally because there's just nothing about a video that can add up to being able to see actual people. Hopefully, when that rolls around, you will all still be safe and not lost in the woods. Please be safe, don't get lost in the woods. I know from experience, it isn't fun. That stuff that I wrote in the brochure for this month's kit, I'm actually not exaggerating. I do get that lost, and I did get that lost, and it's not fun. So, be safe, wear your sunscreen, keep an eye out for ticks, and I'll see you in the fall. Bye.